Yo, what is going on, y'all? V-Rob here. Today what we got going on, we will be talking about a huge topic going on in the NBA today. It is about Kawhi Leonard and him resting / taking load management games off. Now this has been, there are so many different sides of the spectrum. There's kids that are paying, that their parents are paying thousands of dollars to go see Kawhi Leonard. He doesn't play. There's people on Kawhi's side that are saying this worked last year. Why can't we do it again? There's a Clippers saying we're gonna do whatever Kawhi wants. There's just so many different parties to talk about and so many different options, problems, pros, cons. So we're gonna look into that, you guys. So without further ado, y'all, let's hop right into it. Let's talk about Kawhi Leonard. Let's talk about the LA Clippers of this 2019-2020 season so far. So the LA Clippers have played 8 games so far. They're at a record of 5-3. Kawhi Leonard has already missed 2 of the first 8 games so far in this early stages of the NBA season. He missed October 30th against the Utah Jazz, and then he missed last night, November 6th, against the Milwaukee Bucks. Both those games, the Clippers lost, which, does that really surprise anyone? On the road against Utah, one of the hardest teams to play on the road, and then the Milwaukee Bucks, one of the elitist, is that a word, elitist? One of the most elite teams in basketball. So with Kawhi Leonard, they are 5-1, which would put them right behind the Lakers for the best record in basketball, and then without Kawhi Leonard, they are 5-2. Now, a lot of people are saying, why is Kawhi Leonard doing this? And we obviously know resting / load management has been a huge topic over the league over the past 5 to 10 years. It started with the San Antonio Spurs. Greg Popovich has a huge history of resting players in the regular season, no matter what the game is, whether it was with Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili. We even saw it in the early stages of Kawhi Leonard's career, which in my opinion is where he got the influence from and why he does it today. And then we obviously remember a few seasons ago with the Cleveland Cavaliers when they rested Kyrie, LeBron, and Kevin Love, actually against the Clippers on a Saturday night primetime game. LeBron has had a huge history of resting games / sitting games out, and then multiple star players have had that same experience. We have heard multiple players from the old days, since like the 80s and 90s, saying they would never do that, and they played all 82 games. We have, science and scientific people saying that it is smart for players to sit out so they can maintain their ability for the playoffs. We have LeBron saying that it works, and then we have Kawhi Leonard saying that it works. So we have so many different parties. So without further ado, we are going to hop in actually to the 2018-2019 season with Kawhi Leonard on the Toronto Raptors. Yes, doesn't it seem weird? Kawhi literally went to an entirely different country. And in less than a year, in an 11-month span, he brought them their first NBA championship and then dipped for LA. So, let me get back on track. Let's hop in with 2018-2019 NBA season. So the 2018-2019 NBA season, the Toronto Raptors acquired Kawhi Leonard in a trade with DeMar DeRozan. In return, they got Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green. Yes, the Spurs gave up Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green for DeMar DeRozan. Now, this is a season after Kawhi Leonard only played 9 games with the San Antonio Spurs. The season before, obviously, he got injured against the Golden State Warriors in the Western Conference Finals. We were unsure for months what the injury exactly was, but then we heard a huge disargument between Kawhi's camp and the San Antonio Spurs camp on what the injury was and how they treated it. So he only played 9 games in the 2017-2018 season. So going into this season, 2018-2019, Kawhi only played 9 games the season before. So we hop into this upcoming new season, and in just the first 11 games, Kawhi Leonard missed already 4 of those games. Looking through the entire season, he played no back-to-backs. He played a total of 60 games last year, just 4 more than LeBron James did. LeBron got shut down towards the end of March. Kawhi Leonard just played 4 more games than LeBron James did all season last year. What is interesting to think about this, though, with Kawhi Leonard out, the Toronto Raptors still finished with a record of 17-5. So yes, this is very off topic, but I'll talk about this at the end of my Raptors session. But looking at Kawhi Leonard for the regular season, man, averaged 27, 7, and 3, and 34 minutes played per game. And obviously, this did get them to the number 2 seed in the West Eastern Conference, right behind the Milwaukee Bucks, right in front of the 76ers. And despite what you guys want to rip on it, it did work out in the end. Kawhi Leonard played absolutely amazing in that playoff stretch. In my opinion, one of the best playoff runs by a single player in NBA history, giving you 31, 9, and 4 in the playoffs, plus an NBA championship for the city of Toronto. So, And what is interesting about this, guys, if you look at LeBron's team's record when he sits out, if you look at any star's record when they sit out games, specifically LeBron's, their team record is so low. But you look at the Raptors, the record of 17-5, if they kept it up throughout an 82-game season, that would put them damn near a 50-plus win team. So they were still winning games without Kawhi Leonard. They were blowing out teams. They blew out the Golden State Warriors without Kawhi Leonard. So can the Clippers do that? But let's talk about that in my next session about the LA Clippers. Now talking about the LA Clippers, the Clippers are at a record of 5-1 once Kawhi Leonard has played this season. He's averaging 29, 7, and 6, shooting 47% from the field, 36% from 3, and 86% from the free throw line. His PER is a rating of 34, second in the league behind Giannis Antetokounmpo. Second in the league, 29, 7, and 4. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Kawhi Leonard is looking very good this year. He is looking very good for the games that he has played. And the fact that this team is 5-1 with him playing, and they are still awaiting Paul George to come back healthy and start at the other forward position right next to Paul George when he comes back, or right next to Kawhi Leonard when he comes back, instead of Patrick Patterson. That just blows my mind, yo. And they already have one of the top benches in the league, and Patterson is sliding down to the bench row, now working with Harrell and Lou Will. I mean, it's scary, you guys. It is very scary. They show no weaknesses. I think their one weakness, though, is rebounding and height. I think that's where the Lakers get them, along with a few other teams in the league. Now, my big question, especially looking at last season, can this work for the LA Clippers? Obviously, the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference is like day and night. Day and night. Basically. Two opposite sides of the coin. Will this impact them for playoff seeding? Will this impact their playoff chances? If Kawhi Leonard does not play a single back-to-back in which he plays both games, or he just plays one or the other, if he does not play both back-to-back nights and he misses around 20 games like he did last year, are the Clippers good enough? And is the West easy enough to maintain a record like the Toronto Raptors did last season with a 17-5 record when Kawhi was out? In my opinion, no. They're already 0-2. They lost a very competitive game against the Utah Jazz, and they lost a pretty close game against the Bucks last night. But can they keep this up? I think when Paul George comes back, that's going to be a little different, and see how they manage Paul George. In my opinion, Paul George, that is a good example of someone that should be sitting out games, that should be taking load management, because you're just coming back from shoulder surgery. Kawhi Leonard did not have a single injury last year, besides a few knickknacks here and there, especially in the playoffs, but nothing severe like a surgery like Paul George. So my big question, will this affect their playoff chances? And if I had to be honest with you guys, I'm going to say no. But it's important when they sit him out games. I think in the long run, this could impact their playoff seeding, but I still 1,000% see this team making the playoffs. If they are 5-1 with Kawhi Leonard right now, and they're already playing premier teams in this league, and they're already beating certain teams at home, on the road, they can definitely keep that up throughout the season. Will it impact their chemistry? We'll have to see when Paul George comes back, but as of right now, they are doing just fine. Finally, you guys probably want to know my opinions on players sitting out / resting games. Now, like I said, LeBron had a huge history of doing this, especially when he was in Cleveland for the second go-around. And, you know, I see both sides. Obviously, like I said, for Kawhi Leonard's case, it worked out very well for the Raptors last year. I mean, it worked amazingly well. He was the best player in the playoffs last season by far, in my opinion. If Kevin Durant didn't get injured. I mean, that's a whole different story. But I'm going to relate this to LeBron, man. LeBron is a much older player than Kawhi Leonard. He is 7, about to be 8 years older than Kawhi Leonard. They were also in the Eastern Conference. Yeah, I'm not even going to talk about that yet. Let's talk about it from a fan perspective. Say I am a huge Clippers fan, which, thank God I'm not. Let's say I'm a huge Clippers fan, right? It's we'll do my 15th birthday. It's my 15th birthday. I'm a freshman in high school. I'm chilling, and I've never been to an NBA game. My parents surprised me with tickets to the Clippers-Rockets game. We have really good seats. We're like 10 rows back from the benches, and I'm a huge Kawhi Leonard fan. I followed Kawhi throughout his entire career. We go that night, and we find out when we are driving to the game that Kawhi Leonard is not playing because of load management. So the player that I grew up seeing my entire life, the player that I idolize as a role model. Basically, V-Rob's version of LeBron. I am so excited for this. My parents paid so much money for this. And whether you like it or not, it is a team sport, but it's a player-driven league. Kids, teenagers, young adults, elderly people, we love following players in this game of basketball. I have many relatives up near the Akron area, no matter what the ages are. I have some grandparents that are in their 70s, some people that are in their 50s or 60s. They love LeBron. They love this kid. They saw LeBron grow up from high school at St. V. They saw him go to the Cavs, saw him leave. They've seen his whole career, his whole life, basically in front of them. My point is, it is a player-driven league. Yes, it is a team sport, but we go for the player specifically. If we took out the top 50 players in the NBA, do you think anyone would really care that much about basketball? If we just had Kentavious Caldwell-Pope type players running the show, would that be entertaining? So I get it from that perspective. But then also look at the team's perspective. Kawhi Leonard has a history of doing this. Kawhi Leonard did this last season so he would be fresh for the playoffs. And we have seen multiple times throughout the past few seasons of players overusing themselves, I'll just say that, and then getting an injury towards the late end of the season. We saw Kyrie in the 2017-2018 season get a bad knee injury in March, and it's had him out for the whole playoffs. And they went 7 games with LeBron's Cavs. If Kyrie was healthy, what would have happened? I think they would have lost in 4. But my point is, it has worked. I mean, it's not like the wrestling thing has affected teams in a negative way. And if the Raptors went 17-5, and the Clippers can somehow repeat that and win around like 15 of the 20 or 22 games that Kawhi Leonard is out, will that affect them that much in the long run? It will actually benefit them. But in my opinion, I feel at the start of the season, teams or players should give out a schedule of games that they will not be playing. So it is a scheduled rest. It is a scheduled load management night. So fans, teams, they all know when to buy tickets, which games we know Kawhi Leonard will not be playing. That may hurt ticket sales. It may hurt your TV audience for a little bit, but you guys know what I mean? And then you should also, I don't want to say allow refunds, but I like that idea of letting fans know beforehand which games Kawhi Leonard or LeBron James or whoever will be sitting out. And I feel load management, a better way to do it is possibly just playing someone like 20 or 25 minutes in that game. Obviously, that puts their risk of injury a lot more up instead of just not playing at all. But just playing 20 or 25 minutes, calling it a night, not playing the second half, so your fans still get the chance to see their favorite player play. Because I can't imagine being like, we'll say, a 10-year-old kid going up to Cleveland like 4 years ago, going to see LeBron, and then he sits out. I know he didn't sit out home games, but that would honestly break my heart. And so, like, I'm always sympathetic for the kids, bro. I love talking about the future generations and whatnot and what we can do for society and what our generation can influence for the next generation. It just hurts me to think, like, man, waiting your whole life to see one player, then the game you go to, he does not play. So I think you should definitely schedule out which games you'll be resting beforehand, and you could also do the route of just playing like 20 or 25 minutes and calling it a night. But that is what I got, y'all. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like. Subscribe if you guys are new. Thank you guys so much for the support. Cannot thank you enough. Stay blessed all of 2019. I love talking about the second best team in Los Angeles. Stay blessed, you guys. Keep being yourselves. Keep being who you are. Do not listen to other people. Just keep following your dreams, man. You're perfect. V-Rob is out this thing, y'all. Peace! That was a fire video, damn.